You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
The days are becoming shorter, the nights are becoming longer, and the Counter-Strike is getting better. Welcome back to ESL Challenger League Season 46. The European edition continues. I'm Tea Time, joined by none other than Michael Yumi Cassidy. Michael, we are out of the group stage. We're into the group stage?
Yeah, well, we're in a bracket. We're in a bracket, and that's usually the playoffs. But there's a round just before those playoffs we have to get through first.
Of course, and over here we're obviously going to be going over the high group. There's also a medium group that we're going to show you guys very soon. But just so you guys know, we've had the groups which were round robins. I think there were groups of about 5 teams each. And from those, a couple of teams have gone forward. The top 2 teams going forward to proceed into the high group. The next 2 teams going into the mid group. The high group teams will then be distributed, as you can see, over to the playoffs in the upper bracket across the bunch of them. And then from the mid group, we're going to be having teams in the lower bracket as well. That being said, high groups already had some matches coming through. We've had some interesting results coming out of it as well. Team Spirit dropping out a map to Team Space. Space was doing very well for themselves. I was, however, still surprised to see that. The match we're going to be covering for you today is Spirit versus Apeks, and the A stream will be covering Looking for Org versus 9. Of course, that doesn't mean that's the only Counter-Strike that will be played today. We also have the mid group that is being played out, but neither one of those matches will be on a stream, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's kind of like Little Red Riding Hood and the Three Bears. Wait, that might not even be the right analogy, but one group is way too hot, one's just right, and the other is stone cold. And that's the kind of teams we have kind of on display within each of these groups. The mid group actually is quite competitive. It feels kind of just right, fairly unsure about how the lay of the land is going to go, but when we go into that lower group, there's a lot more kind of up for grabs to a certain degree, just kind of saving face for the remainder of this season, because the playoff contention isn't really there for you when you look down in that lower group. But some interesting matches for sure in this mid group. I think that 4 Soul one as well is going to be quite the banger.
But I'm wildly confused. Did you just bring out a Goldilocks comparison and say Group A is too hot? The high group is too hot, the bottom group's too cold? I feel like they're all still damn competitive and they all have so much to fight for, Michael. I want all 3 of these bowls of pudding. Am I just a greedy Goldilocks? Is that what's going on over here? Wow. I feel like I need to question some live decisions. But while I do that, you guys can obviously check over the schedule for today. We've only got 2 matches on stream, like we mentioned. There will be some community streams and whatnot going on. So if you'd like to go check those matches out, please do so. But listen, let's be honest. We know what you're here for. You're here for us. You're here for some great teams. It's in Apeks and Team Spirit. 2 teams that have been the talk of the town for different reasons. Apeks, of course, maybe a bit more on a downwards trend. Spirit a bit more on an upwards trend. Who's catching who? Who's catching strays? Who's going to be getting caught out here?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, with Apeks doing a bit of soul searching, with Stico out, promoting, albeit on a temporary basis, Sense into their roster, who's actually looked quite solid in this roster so far. That said, there's still a lot of growing pains that'll happen with that. Myther vouching for Sense in some capacity to bring him up into the squad, maybe thinking that he was ready for that level of competition, but we've seen some of the shortfalls that sort of comes with that. And then, like you said, Spirit are on that uptrend. It feels as though anytime you're watching a Spirit game, all you see in the chat is donk, 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 donk. And then sometimes Zontix and Artfrost get a bit of attention, but it kind of feels like there is one real highlight, one real star of the show on this Team Spirit squad, and it's the youngest guy on it.
And look, at the same time, we could say for Apeks as well, there is one very big highlight on this team, and it's supposed to be Nock, the best Swedish player in the world right now, arguably, although I don't think there's very much argument about it. But here's the problem. Ops aren't as good anymore. The economy, there's fewer rounds. Nock was never a super explosive Brokey style opper where he's getting highly aggressive, in my opinion, right? So the kind of opping that is maybe being brought out to light a little bit more so is not as prevalent. Now, that being said, Michael, who is super aggressive and who has been reputed throughout his career for being very good on the rifle, being great on entry packs. Is it Stico? No, it's Jacob, of course. It's Jacob coming in over here. You know, Stico did have some of that as well. But no, Jacob is having a resurgence in form. Feels like he's seen what Rain's doing over in CS2 as well. He's feeling like, you know what, maybe these old man hands still have got a little bit more time left to them. And, you know, the clock is no longer ticking for him, it seems like.
Yeah, it's strange because, you know, in the same way that Rain for a lot of people maybe flies under the radar being on that FaZe roster, I feel like Jacob for a lot of his career has kind of flown under most people's radars as well, because he has been very, very consistent throughout many of the rosters that he's been on, hasn't really kind of garnered the same attention, but has basically not changed the way he plays and still puts up the same numbers or better. Like you said, as of late, it does seem like it's almost increasing with Counter-Strike 2. So it's a nice story, and I think you will see Jacob kind of take over at certain points in this game.
Look, Michael, that being said, we do need to bring the discussion a little bit more over towards the map pool, because I have to say this is not looking fantastic for Apeks, because I do think Apeks has some great players, but the veto is going to be very difficult to sort of walk through when you actually consider their strengths and weaknesses of the time. The bans, obviously, they should be straightforward. Oh, we've got the veto right here as well. All right. Inferno, nuke ban, straightforward. Spirit picking up Ancient, there are no surprises there. It's a map that Apeks don't do very well on, and Spirit never lose on, seemingly. Mirage, the counter pick from Apeks in itself is concerning to me. That's something that Spirit likes to pick for themselves. I think these vetoes might actually be reversed, if I'm honest, because Apeks is first picking Ancient as far as I'm aware. But the bans are fine, so I'm not sure. This is confusing to me, because it seems like maybe both teams have first pick each other's, but it also does make sense to some extent.
Yeah, they've got a decent amount of crossover in their first picks anyway, so I think it doesn't really matter whether they're reversed or not. I think these are accurate. You know, from my understanding, Apeks have been leaning into a first pick Mirage more so than Spirit themselves. If you're going to see Spirit play Mirage, usually their opponent's picking it, or it's ending up in sort of the decider match. But it's still a very solid map for Spirit. It does feel maybe a little one-dimensional, maybe. Maybe that's something that Apeks could exploit. It's one of the maps I know that Virtus Pro have effectively neutralized players like Donk, who's very influential in Mirage. I feel like there's something you can take away from the Virtus Pro system almost to see if you can try and do much of the same, because I think if you're going to try and beat this Spirit team, that first hurdle is actually counteracting what is a very sort of unchained young gun on that Spirit roster.
That being said, though, Michael, I have to say Artfrost and Mirage is just a fantastic player on the CT side, and it does feel like that's one of the players who does transition through into this new game pretty effectively, regardless of the AWP being in his hands and that being considered a slightly inferior weapon. Even if we go to Anubis, however, Michael, supposing that both teams take their own map picks, which is very possible. Even if we go to Anubis, so this is where I get very worried, Michael, because as good as I think Apeks have found themselves to be on Anubis, I think Spirit have the superpowered advantage of Zontix being the best player on the server in every Anubis game that I've seen him on. He is just one of the most fantastic A-side players on the T side inside the game right now. I think he's incredible right now with how he's playing.
Yeah, it's strange that Spirit have sort of these two almost untapped riflers that they've been able to find. And I think we were talking just before we went live, you were sort of saying whoever's doing the scouting on Spirit, like whatever he was doing, give him a raise. He seems to be one of the best in the business at doing it, because they're sort of polar opposites to a certain extent. You know, Donk is very free-flowing, very laissez-faire, will take a lot of these fights out in the open, and Zontex is way more calculated, but still has the same refined mechanics and doesn't make maybe as many mistakes, but also because he doesn't make as many mistakes, doesn't have to bail himself out with the crazy aim displays, so to speak. So yeah, no, I think Anubis for that reason, you know, when I saw that in the third map in the pool, even if we go that distance, I do fear for Apeks in this game.
Oh, absolutely. And Michael, you know, Zontix, for me, I do think that Donk is definitely the one who's more celebrated, but Zontix does seem to be that guy who's more ready for Tier 1, in my opinion, right? Because he has been told to fulfill a role. And we have had this discussion a lot when we're covering Spirit in the past, Michael, that this team is constructed around Donk, and that's very clear. But the fact that Zontix has found stardom in a team that seems to be constructed entirely around one rifle player, the fact that Artfrost is finding his space as well, these two guys are becoming much more refined than young talents have any right to be in a lot of ways, right? Because if they're the star players, they're being told to go haywire. But because they're playing containment, in fact, I think they've ended up becoming much better players than they would have been in any other circumstance. So in a strange way, them not being the focus seems to have made them better overall players.
Yeah, it's actually weird. I think the resources, I think at the start when Spirit came in, they actually were funneling a lot of resources into Donk, and then I think they realized that he could almost run sort of autonomously, and so I think we've seen a bit of a shift to give more resources to players like Artfrost or Zontix, actually to sort of make their playstyle more refined in these games.
Of course, listen, Michael, we can't just talk about Spirit. Let's get a quick few words in on Kixen and Sassanito as well, Michael. I want to hear your thoughts on them before we send it out to a break and we go back into things.
Sassanito has traveled quite a few different places after he initially left the Blue Jays and is a very explosive player. But what has unlocked him, or what's brought him back, I think, to form, is actually linking back up with Kixan. I feel like Kixan has a very firm understanding of how to utilize him properly, you know, able to speak his native tongue as well. So if there is going to be quick communications, Sassanito, Kixan, that's a nice little duo for the Apeks squad.
Hey, listen, that compatriot brotherhood, that's always going to be good to bring things back into the server. But we're going to be heading back into the server after a short break. We're off to figure out exactly whatever doohickey is we need to tweak to get this game started. We'll be back very soon. straight into the tin of things. Apeks versus Team Spirit, a very contentious matchup that we're going to be having to fight for who goes into the upper bracket, who will end up in the lower bracket. And this is where we find out whether Apeks has what it takes. Even with Sense on trial, they've of course been stumbling a little bit, but they have found a bit more steady footing. And we're going to find out where they're going to take this one.
Yeah, it's not a good prospect coming into a map that is so dominant for Team Spirit. Have only lost it once in the past 13 showings, and that was a 16-14 loss back when it was still CSGO. So Team Spirit looking to put best foot forward here on this pistol. Great Molotov, and they find Sense immediately. The one man that was left in charge of keeping tabs on this A bomb site has been felled. And there's a little bit of counter-aggression here from Sassanito. All the meanwhile, Kixon is taken instead on that A bomb site, but already gushed up. And that will likely prompt the acceleration, yeah, especially now after killing him into that A bomb site.
Well, Sassanito's down over here as well. Nock will be able to find one response, but with the bomb site being fully controlled, this pistol round is basically gone. Nock can try and find a bit more damage, but given the fact that him and Jacob both actually have intact armor, maybe you can think about saving. Honestly, now I feel like there's a smaller argument to be made for that, because there is a lot more focus on saving up in the second round, so saving Kevlar into the second is not that big of a deal. So I do feel like you should just try and commit and get a bit more money, and well, at least Nock will pick up a few kills for himself.
Jacob might be set up for another kill as well, and the attempt to chase down Nock and deal with him. Nock, I think, might still have full untouched armor because he likely sustained a headshot, so yeah, that will feel a little bit better, even though, like you were saying, there's maybe not as much of an emphasis on it anymore. Still a very convincing pistol from Team Spirit. Attacking middle, got the smokes down, got that Molotov into Donut, and really counteracted the setup that Apeks had no real aggression from ledge to stop any of that mid progression until it was too late. They'd already bypassed them by getting into Donut and attacking that A bomb site. See a force buy in from Apeks into the second round. It's a lot riskier to do this particular buying pattern in CS2, but they're taking that gamble and doing well to trade things out 1 for 1, and it will be doubly so inside middle. Zontix getting those 2 kills. Sassanito trying to aggress, but that will be his undoing. Team Spirit back into a man advantage, and Chopper just ferrying away those rifles so that things can't go from bad to worse too quick.
Apeks have elected to keep both players separate as well, so within this divorce, unless Jacob goes for information and finds out that there's no one in middle and can maybe try and leverage that into a push over to lane, it feels like it's unlikely that we're going to see a hold coming out. Nock's scout is worried about a crossover to red room, regardless of whatever information Jacob gets. That would always have been a possibility, but a re-smoke over to the B-bomb site should be showing him that is the intention for Team Spirit to attack. If they deploy, they're going full contact into the bomb site. They're not using any utility at all, and Nock is missing out on his opportunities. Can't quite connect on the shot, and with that, Jacob is left lonely.
Yeah, it's a pretty sad way to die, getting timinged like that, having to juggle between angles, and then suddenly, as you peek into a fight, there's 3 players looking right at you. But that's what's going to happen if you leave yourself open to those timings in the first place. And honestly, a good call here from Team Spirit to re-navigate and simply contact in. Jacob will try and get a couple of exits if possible, but I don't think Spirit are going to even go this way, playing more towards CT spawn. So Jacob should be able to hold on to this FAMAS, and I don't imagine there's going to be too much accomplished with it. Now, this Apeks team is kind of interesting. You know, with the departure of Stico, it almost feels as though they've lost kind of a big part of their identity. Maybe this is part of the issue with, you know, Stico mainly handling the interviews, being very like forward-facing with content creation as well for the brand, and serving as, you know, quite a thinking man's kind of player. You know, for him to be not a part of this roster anymore, it does feel as though Apeks are going to have to do a bit of soul searching. And maybe it'll take a couple of months, or maybe even 6 months to rebrand themselves or find their identity again. Whether Sense passes the trial or whether they opt for other players may be a part of that journey. But, you know, it does feel as though coming into this game and a lot of the future games for Apeks, this is a weakened brand or a weakened version of what really shocked people them doing so much damage at that Paris Major.
Yeah. Middle. As well, and Jacob's only good for one. Sense is going to be found as he's trying to swing out, though. And now with that, the A-bomb side is going to be relatively uncontested. Jacob makes his way over and has actually done a good bit of damage to Chopper. Now remember, there are only 3 Ts over here. One of them is lurking. That's going to be Magic's all the way back to the B-bomb site. So there's a chance here for these Deagles to do some heavy damage and make things risky. But with Magic's actually finding the frag, maybe there's a world where rotation is called? No, of course not. They've got control of the bomb site. There's no real reason to go for that. Jacob will just be moving back with his farmers, more likely than not. Kixon, however, has hit a nice shot.
Yeah, that was lovely. And they're low HP. Magic's found on his lurk, and suddenly a rifle given over to Nork. Sure, these players are low on the Apeks side, but they're going to try and use that man advantage to try and topple what is supposed to be an easier round for Team Spirit.
They're going for the defuse. And now because of the bomb radius, Team Spirit's already worried about their economy. They started to go back. There's a timing window over here where the full defuse can happen. Chopper is low. He's got his knife out. A single bullet would do him in. And Chopper's not going to be able to spot the defuse coming in. Kixon is on it, but Chopper still takes care of business. That could have been very dangerous.
I'm not so sure that they were even trying to lean away for the save. I think they wanted to go for this long wrap back to A main, and they were just simply securing that path. Because Zontix was that healthy player. That was incredibly risky, the way they played that post plant, but Chopper went above and beyond with his low HP. I don't know how he dodged death so many times and found a kill, all while, you know, taking players off the defuse. I mean, he should have died, basically, as soon as he peaked.
100%. Even on the crossover, it's literally 1 bullet. That's all it takes from any of those weapons.
Yeah.
Had 3 rifles.
A very wild way to end that round. Of course, now this is the full buy of Apeks, and this is one of the strengths of going for that second round force, is being able to get that AWP for your first reinforced buy. But Artfrost has one himself, and he's one of the golden 3 we've been talking about on this Team Spirit roster.
Yes. Not quite as sexy as the Golden 5, but Bolton already took that one. Damn it.
Yeah, they've got a lot
It's a
to prove
tyrannical
before they can
trio,
do that.
maybe. Well, regardless, Nock's been given the AWP. That's one of the reasons behind the forced buy investment, like you mentioned. What's he going to do with it? He's just holding down on the B bomb site for now. Sense is going to be once again left on a bit of an island on this A-bomb site. There's no world where Jacob can help him if there starts to be a push in from A main. Kixon's been doing a great job of trying to keep some control and find some information back inside Red Room, but even he'll have to cede control in middle after finding that first frag.
A surprisingly slow start for Donk in this game, and maybe that will be one of the catalysts for Apeks to start getting rounds back, having dealt with him already. Less than 20 seconds. They have to really get a move on into this B bomb site. They have found a kill via the spam. Sassanito trying his best to pre-fire the angle, but even though time was low, Team Spirit cracks straight into this bomb site and have space to plant.
Sense isn't able to actually pop that nade out, otherwise the planter would have gone down. That would have been the round over there and then. Still, retake will be very much in the cards for the CTs, regardless of the lack of kits on their bodies. Magic's position will be key. And Nock is completely occupied and keeping an eye out for a potential Red Loom lurk to come through. Zontix trying to peek back over. Magic's the first one to find a frag. Zontix swings out, but it's traded away. Nock knows there's no chance for him to win out this round. So again, Apeks are living on slim margins, but unfortunately for them, those margins are still ending up on the side of Team Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, they started a man down, and they managed to crack into this bomb site so late. It's actually a massive surprise. One of those kills was straight through the wood wall into the back of the site. You know, Kixon revealed his hand in middle at the start of the round in dealing with Dong, and then inserted himself into B, thinking, oh, they wouldn't expect this extra man to be here. Didn't matter. If you die through a wall bang, it's a pretty sad way for the round to go up in smoke just like that. It's not exactly the most... These aren't the most encouraging rounds for Team Spirit in a lot of ways. It doesn't feel like they have full control of the situation, and that's all credit to Apeks as well, making these uncomfortable. But I think that's part of the team spirit gameplay at the moment. There's a lot of games that they get into where the initial plan fizzles up, but that's where those three core players and Magix, I feel like we failed to sort of mention Magix. He's actually been doing a great job in some of these rounds to sort of save face for Spirit.
Turning around, will be taken out immediately. Donk's been able to get himself on the board. An entry that might not be the most explosive, but very impactful. Jacob still can take care of these players proceeding through. This procession will be stopped, and there is a gun to be recovered. Donk had, of course, given his back to Chopper initially. The spray continues. Jacob is finding success on this A side.
Yeah, really solid work there from Jacob. Just kept the pressure applied. Got the trade, and then just simply kept on fighting because he knew his teammates were reinforcing his position. Magix on his lurk will end up empty-handed as well. So 4 alive for Apeks to finally break into the board. And this started off with that quick Donk entry. But Spirit, I don't think we're all on the same page about how they wanted to proceed after they got that kill. Zontic swung out wide from A main. Nobody else dared make that journey. And then they simply trickle in one after another into what is a very angry Jacob, who started off rather well, had his saved FAMAS and now finds himself with a 4K in that gun round. He's up to 9-2.
So it's interesting. You mentioned that they're not on the same page. I think the reason for that is because Chopper was on a Glock and he had been intending to just take an AK from whoever sort of lets go of one the first. But when Donk is low, he turns back to give the gun over. Zontix is already thinking that, hey, we've got a kill, let's swing.
Yeah.
So that clash just causes the round to unravel regardless of that first frag that they're able to find.
You just need to take that extra 1 or 2 seconds for them to sort of regroup, regather, but
now, money for the T side is gone. No surprises there with how these rounds have been going. I will say both Sassanito and Sense having a quiet game as well, both on a grand total of 0 frags between them. Never a great feeling, but at least they've got company.
Yeah, I feel like you really emphasize that with the grand total.
It's like scratching a lottery ticket. Sure, it's still gonna tell you you've won a grand second scratch card.
Yeah, you get to try again. I mean, how good that does you. But that was quick math for you folks. 0 plus 0 is, well, the same.
I didn't fail calculus for nothing. Smoke down middle, and it is a damage game here, and Donk is dealing some immediately. Jacob struggling to hold down the line. Donk's gone and got a second, and not stopping there, sir. He's gone for 3. Sassanito down as well, and suddenly it is a 5-on-2. Both players on the B bomb site, and both players have been navigated around. They've realized Nox been playing this B site mostly. Sense, even if he's still on A, you know what? He's on 0 kills. We can deal with him.
I do. You have to wonder how encouraging this is. Donk starts this game, 0-4, and they give him an AK in this round, and he just triple entries. That must be such a surreal experience to be a part of. Just go, yeah, okay, we're giving you the hero rifle. This is on you. We're gonna take mid late, and we're gonna be the bodies that guard you to get these kills. And man, does he deliver. Didn't see it from his point of view, but he just lit up that kill feed so quick. There's not a whole lot that Apeks can do about it.
At the end of the day, the thing about a superstar is that even if they're having a bad game, they can have a good round.
Yeah.
Right? And that's terrifying. A round like this, right, where your Apeks is probably thinking, hey, we've got a chance to maybe solidify. We're 1 gun round away from equalizing. We're thinking of the future already. The present evades you when you've got an AK in one of these hands, unfortunately, for them.
I'll always just be reminded of that clip of Chopper in an interview saying there's a really scary thing happening at the moment where we're in practice, I'll call a strat and it doesn't work, and then all of a sudden Donk will get 3-4 kills and you just go, okay.
Wow. I'm an amazing IGL.
Yeah, I've done it again. I can't believe it. How do I keep getting away with this?
It is one of those Nico go kill memes. Sometimes it does. Just pop up. And of course, remember, guys, as much as you might have thought that it was there in CSGO and everything, in CSGO, we had much more dominant operas to make these godlike rifle talents feel like they can still be stopped very easily sometimes. Too easily, some would say sometimes.
Not to mention, in the early eras, you know, we had harder resets on economy, so there was a lot more sort of empty calories, so to speak, for a lot of these sort of superstar riflers or, you know, up-and-comers to exploit to a certain extent.
It feels like every time you're going up against anyone, even if they've only got an MP9, that MP9 is probably just, you know, swinging left, swinging right. It's like a Mission Impossible movie going on over here. Like, what are you even shooting at? And you still get the kill? All right, good for you, man.
This is a reinvestment from Apeks. Pretty healthy one, but expending quite a lot of utility to show some presence over towards B. Meanwhile, Zontix is creeping crab-like out the middle, right into the AUG, right into double scopes, in fact. A second one that's immediately dealt with. Nork's AWP ends up empty-handed, and Sense as well will lose his fight on a hairline angle. Zontix don't need no scope.
Shout out to Zontix, man. He's I love the fact that he's able to bait knock in over there as well. Realizes what's going on over here. There's no reason for the AUG to be holding an angle like that. Holds out the second one, but Jacob in the meanwhile is holding out the second bomb site. Will be giving them a chance, but one that his teammates will have to avail. He's already met the afterlife, and the Reaper has sent him home. Sassanito has a chance to redeem himself for what has been a poor game so far, but Kixon, a much better performance, will be featuring a dead Zontix as well. So in a 2 versus 2, Sassanito barely misses out on a timing window. A straight flashbang in will not be helping him. There's already a Molotov cutting off his ascent forward, and with his HP being low as it is, running through the length of a full flame was hardly going to be conducive to him taking this round back. It has to be a retake. It has to come from the hands of Kixon, who is coming out on the swing advantage, but Artfrost just too good on the adjustment. Sassanito dodges out the flashbang, moving in all the way, trying to move into Artfrost, is able to bait out the shot, but Artfrost is still running. He is still hiding. There's nothing to be done, and although there's guns to be picked up, none of them have ammo. Artfrost still comes out on top with a triple.
I mean, the trio of these guys are just, it's a joy. It really is a joy to watch some of these guys work. Artfrost just so elusive, even when he's caught off guard, peeking into cave, has the goal to scope in a second time, to look dead in the eye his opponent before he blows his brains out with that AWP. And then just the smooth moves at the end. I mean, what's not to like? Spirit, at the moment, are getting away with bloody murder on a lot of these rounds. And that's even with Jacob having honestly a solid performance. He's getting his double kills, he's having his impact. It's just Apeks cannot close.
Jacob's definitely had a good time, but it does feel like some of his flexibility is taken away from him. Sense unable to put up a defense means Jacob has to do twice the work, and right now he's not even done the work of one man, let alone two. Donk just comes in right back to single KD point after being down 0-4. That's just a normal thing to happen in 3 rounds. Unfortunately for Apeks, it doesn't feel like their lollygaggers are having quite the same rejuvenation or even have that option available to them.
Yeah, still struggling to find that impact. Grand total of 1 now, if we're keeping track.
For 2 players, just in case anyone isn't aware, that's why Michael's saying grand total.
Yeah.
2. I don't want to feel like we're bullying Sense. We're bullying both of them, damn you.
Yes, I'll have you
just
know.
like Spirit is.
Yeah, this is non-exclusive. And especially, you know, after you had a brief conversation, albeit, but sort of mentioning the fact that Sassanito has actually, I think he has looked better since linking back up with Kixan and coming into this Apeks team. You know, there were many of his other projects where it just didn't feel like he was comfortable. I don't know if that was like the language barrier or if it was just how he was being utilized, but it felt like something clicked. But at the moment, none of that's happening on the server for us to see right now. That Molotov didn't go where it was supposed to. I think it blew up on the wall, so some of the presence that Magix is trying to feign on this B bomb site may be right into pretty quickly. There was nothing to sort of deter them down the ramp, and Norks Orp taking a very wide and risky angle, but gets away with his kill onto Zontix and can now reposition. Molly down, Donk, doing what Donk does, a quick headshot, and even though his teammates are separated, he's taking space.
There was full information about Donk coming through. He was burning. He's making sound, he's doing everything, and Nock unfortunately just isn't able to in time. And with this now, the backlines is where Sassanito was trying to get active, but his activity is interrupted. Magix to keep him at bay. Meanwhile, speaking of at bay, Kixon's all the way at B site. Jacob's dead, and Apeks feels like they're in a situation where they have to contest, but they don't have the positions to do it. Kixon, is he going to go through a smoke? Is that what the plan is? Seems like he has to, but a flashbang already in his face. Artfrost is already scoping back to the back of the bomb site as he's starting to re-navigate into A again, already looking to make sure they can take these weapons forward. The bomb has ticked past. This doesn't feel like there's too much of a chance over here. Kicks in, maybe now he has got a kit, but no, doesn't actually get onto the bomb either.
He's just, oh my god, he survived. I thought he was going to die to the damage and the bomb as a collection. I thought they were faking the save so that Kixon could come in to try and defuse, because that would have been wild, and I would have fully respected the attempt. But it did seem as though Apeks weren't quite sure whether they were foot in or foot out on that retake or not. They were obviously sectioned off by smokes. Kixon took a risk moving through his coming out of spawn, but nobody wanted to sort of leap in to get that retake underway, because I mean they were a man down as well. Have to bear that in mind in context, but got to take some risks, and that's one that Sassanito will be regretting. 0-7 his start, Zontix that entry, and just moving quickly once again to take space on A.
Well, Kixon somehow found a triple kill. I don't know how, but it does feel like maybe the hand of God has come down and blessed him for at least a single round. Can they still convert? It is not a definite answer here. Donk would have been in a prime position to take down Nock, but a quick wide swing will give him the advantage. Artfrost as well cannot hold the angle. So Apeks, they found a hero, and it is Kixon.
Yeah, your in-game leader ran straight through and fought in front of the smokes, and Spirit got caught off guard. So, I mean, hats off to Kixon. He came out with a miracle 3K out of nowhere, basically. It almost looked like Apeks were just going to be boxed out of the bomb site. Kind of similar to what happened on the retake. Kixon's the one willing to take the risk.
And at the same time, the question will always be the same, right? Can Apeks do 2 in a row? Because that's not a repeatable formula. And Sense will be challenged heavily again and again. Team Spirit are making they're not making any illusions about what they're trying to do, right? They found a weakness on this A bomb site, and they're trying to exploit it. B bomb site, you've got the AWP reinforcing, you've got all of these other things. Sure, Magix might be able to lurk in and find a pick or two, but in the meanwhile, Donk is going to swing.
This will get scary for Jacob if they decide to trail forward, but the timing on the smoke on elbow is exceptional. Yeah, at the moment, Spirit have not wanted to go to the B bomb site unless they know for certain they have a man advantage. And there's kind of no carved path into one of the sites. That's where it has been more frequented at A. Still weighing
Apeks
up
has
their options,
zero
but
information right now
yeah.
of where the T side are. You can see they're getting a little bit scared on the minimap, right? You know, Nox rotated back to the A bomb side. It's been so many commitments onto A, but again and again, Sense is the one who's found. Spirit are doing a great job of isolating this one player. Artfrost trying to peek in will not have the advantage. Nock has to defend without being able to relocate. There's too many angles to take care of, and in the meanwhile, Jacob has been traded. Nock is fighting all alone, and with 12 seconds left, the bomb needs to be planted and will be done so. But even then, Peaks are coming forward. Nok and Sassanito hold down the line. Nok has got a great timely reposition to that A-bomb, so that enables all of that action to take place.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic work from him. I mean, a Molotov that blooms at his feet as well while all this pressure is being applied. So one player jump over at Donut, but was hyper-fixated on that next man that was going to likely swing out from that position. You know, once Sense was dealt with, it was very unlikely it was just going to be one man there from Spirit, especially with the time running low. And even though there was all this utility blooming on that B bomb site, they didn't over-cheat their rotations on Apeks. They stayed stoic. Those two B players didn't call numbers. They didn't see anybody actually fighting. And so there was kind of no reason for those A players to move a muscle. All those suspicions were reaffirmed after Sense died, but it's enough. If Nok can get that impact and keep himself alive, it's very difficult for Spirit to get much more progress. And this might be a final... I mean, this is the final round in the half. But it'll be a nice little capstone here for Apeks to maybe mount a comeback in that second half.
Oh, no sense. Now he's going to do some decent damage, but that also opens him up to being taken down. Instead, he's taking the fight. Two of them. Double kill out from Sens. Side time that he activates, kicks in, just making sure he can clear out every angle, as he will find yet another frag in Team Spirit. Seem like they are going to be losing out the last round of this half as well, unless there is, you know, something ridiculous coming out of Donk and Zontix, but I think we are going to have Sense prevail.
That was almost so heartless from Kixon. He almost let Sense die just so he can make sure he kills him. Now, I couldn't believe he played Trigger Discipline when his teammate was at risk. I mean, like you said, this 2 versus 5 is looking increasingly unlikely. Sense still keeping information on the front side of B main. Donk did cheat pass, but
oh
the
my
spam,
god,
you are going to get punished for that. A straight headshot straight through that wall, but kicks in there to take place. Well spotted on the Jiggle Peak, but now trying to get some space. They have to progress into this site and try and get that bomb down to extend the round. 20 seconds, and there's nothing to deter this sightline of Nok's AWP. That first shot missed, though, and it's very flank-focused here for Team Spirit. That smoke on short may be enough to get that plant in, but Donk's down, and Zontix very soon to follow. Jacob, 14 kills to seal off this half as we get a 4th from Apeks, but we'll have to come back in that second half to see whether they continue play or Team Spirit close.
Signs of life, but Sense has not found sensibility just quite yet. This is not a classic, not until it is fully written. Apeks have held the pen, but will they have enough ink to actually follow through? Spirit still firmly in the lead.
Yeah, if you have a S sound at the start of your name, you're struggling here on Apeks. See if there is a resurgence to be had or not. Nork, a lovely shot, and Jacob as well, continuing good form. 2 kills immediately on the mid-crunch here from Apeks in this pistol, and the flash as well deterring Donk. The bomb is not even with the brunt of this aggression mounting on the A side. They know that Spirit are in panic stations right now, and that bomb can pretty swiftly sail into B, but Team Spirit are actually have begun their foot race.
I think they smoke out at the cave, and with 2 players at the back of the B bomb site playing in from long, Sassanito's got his work cut out for him. Swings continue forward, picking up a kill. Can it be 2? Yes, it can. So the man who you do need to see coming alive is at least having... he's having a good start at the half, so let's see what exactly the rest of it will hold. Donk's not really got much of a chance here, but maybe a miracle can come through. Quick kill found. Sassanito taken down, but Knock and Kixon still alive. Good position. Skit is on the ground, but the 10-second marker will be here very soon. Donk still in hot pursuit, but, well, that's a 10-second marker coming in. He does not have time.
Yeah, had his hands on that kit, but Nork was always the insurance. Kixon was just there to buy time and play ring around the rosy, and he succeeded in doing exactly that. Gets a little scary there with Donk in the 1 versus 3, and even on the double peak, they couldn't kill him. But all well and good when they saw off with a double entry, a very quick collapse from Apeks, but had a trick up their sleeve for that pistol. Had Spirit guessing about where the actual target was.
That trick does end up almost like biting them, but yeah, they did have one.
Hey, he got Sassanito those 2 kills, and you need him to be active on this D side.
That is true. That is true. Can you imagine if a magician just had like a carnivorous rabbit in his hat instead of a normal one? Ah, yes.
Like a Monty Python killer rabbit.
Yeah, something like that. Well, Knock is a killer. I don't know about a rabbit. I don't know if that's a thing in Sweden, to be honest. What kind of animals do Sweden? Does Sweden have? Wait. I just googled what's the most deadly animal in Sweden, and the answer is apparently 2015 Olafmeister. All right.
Oh my god. You had me in the first half.
Yeah. But it's wolves, actually. It's not moose either.
No, I mean, that does sound pretty aggressive.
Spirit, however, is a dragon. Which is to say, they do not exist, but perhaps they can will themselves into it. Art Frost has willed himself into an AWP with the help of those pistol kills that he was able to find earlier on. Just the one, so you know what, $300 is all you really need in a situation like it. No armor, nothing with it, but yeah. Zontix smokes at his feet while Kixon is trying to nestle behind them. It is still a 5-man collapse back on A. I'm surprised that they're looking to contest this, to be honest. Does feel like against 2 more Molotovs, so many smokes, there's going to be a very low chance, and Kixon's all the way through already. Zontic's down, the trades are good for the T side. That was the sacrificial lamb, but it's one with teeth. Chopper traded out as well. The CTs now would be high time to consider backing off to the bank and asking them about what their savings policy is.
Man, an incredibly fast-paced round once again here from Apeks. Feels like they have one sort of idea on the speedometer for this T side. Just a quick acceleration through A, and there was nobody there for Team Spirit. Just a really good read on how Spirit were going to approach this first gun round. They counteract all that mid presence, all that pressure that Spirit were trying to apply, and even saw Zontix get fully, I think, jump scared, surprised, gobsmacked that he was pushed inside of Donut after Apeks had all that territory control. They had a post plant.
It's like, holy shit, they're pushing me when they're 5v4 up and they still have utility? What are these people doing?
I can't believe it. First off, who dies like that? Second, how could it be me?
The time I've prospered, they've realized that they are sort of at a crossing point where they need to figure out what their purchase is going to look like. And with Zontix purchasing into things, I am kind of concerned. I won't lie to you. I would have liked to see a buy up in the next round to be a little bit more of a proper buy. This is still enough to give them a round, don't get me wrong. But you are kind of light on util, even with the... So why are Artfrost and Donk saving money? That's my question. And okay, you know what? We're going to find out. They've clearly done some match, but is it the match?
Donk doesn't need util. If all he does is fight.
I mean, Donk did buy util, though. He was the one with util, Michael.
Yeah, but he didn't need to... You know what? Never mind. He doesn't need all the extras. He doesn't need all the trimmings. Artfrost maybe could use it, but... Yeah, they're thinking into the future. I don't know. They're 5D chessing this, and I don't have a fifth dimension to look at.
Ooh. Listen. Kixon doesn't have a, third, second, or first dimension anymore either. He's just been removed from all the dimensions. 4 versus 4 in the trade. Team Spirit are happy with that, to be honest. Losing out one of their MP9s is not the worst thing in the world. And with this, the CTs can also start to look to aggress through into Donut, but Jacob has found Donk, who was trying to get a little bit feisty. Jacob, of course, is able to continue forward that stellar half that he was having already. Artfrost alone on the A-bomb side could put up a Knock-esque performance, but he needs to come through big. Chopper in the meanwhile makes sure that he doesn't need to care about too many angles. The bomb is being planted. Chopper swinging right past, but Knock finds him immediately. Takes his head off, and Artfrost is being peeked over at, but Magix will defend him from the sides. Hassanito all alone, still trying to defend the bomb as it's planted. Magix will take the first duel. He's jumped across Artfrost. Shot re-peeks back out, but the USP will be enough. Artfrost will find the 9th.
Oh my days. I mean, that's incredibly nerve-wracking. Artfrost had so many chances, so many targets when they started emerging out of donuts. Didn't pull the trigger, hit some nice shots, that's for sure. But his main priority was staying alive and just proving to be a nuisance for those Apeks guys, because when it came down to it, when they got that plant in, even though they kind of mitigated Chopper, they only had that one post-plant position to have to play from, all because Artfrost stays alive.
Yeah, and I mean, if not for the fact that Knock is trying so hard to punish Artfrost, after Knock gets a kill on Chopper, that might be round over, right? Magix is, playing in from CT. If Knock is just focusing on CT, you let Zassanito focus on Artfrost, your standard, mark your man. But because Artfrost is such a threat, Knockfell pressure is taken down. Chopper now trying to be a threat himself, but Zassanito, that rejuvenation continues. Artfrost is... he's up to some shenanigans. He's doing some things on the server and do seem quite rude. Magix, though, politeness is a optional quality. He just come through, smack Knock on the side of the head.
Yeah, Donk was just sitting inside of the smoke, ready to phase it, but there's Magix stealing the limelight. And now he's taking all the attention. They know that he's still around inside or outside of B main. They will have to try and face check this one. Sent swinging out wide. Magix 1 and Donk there to trade things out. But Kixon doubling up. Now a path towards this B bomb site has been carved out. Enough space for this bomb to go down as well. So the extra money will be nice. But this could be a Kixon clutch all the same.
Sonic to his boss. Makes noise, but he's able to re-peek back out over. Really nicely played, honestly.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to see that.
Just a little swift move to get past that initial sightline, and Kixon feeling like he had to fight because he had that one isolated duel. It's kind of the precursor you're looking for in clutches like it.
Yeah.
And getting away with some pretty egregious stuff. A jump out from Chopper that goes untraded, and then Artfrost wall bangs straight into pocket.
Yeah.
They had a wallbang kill as well when they were on that T side, when they had like 15 seconds left on that B bomb site onto Kixon, which again, it's just these are the kinds of unfortunate things that can happen sometimes, but Spirit seemed to be getting the better end of the stick. It's a very
Kixon's had that stick sort of shoved back at him. Taken out immediately. Chopper is also going to continue to get aggressive, so he wants to take this trend forward and maintain it, and you know what? Success is found, so why not?
That's actually really unfortunate there for Sense. So much utility was sailing at him, and I think he thought one of them was a flashbang. Had to turn. Donk 1 kill as well, fighting in from Donut, but they were still heavily at a disadvantage, and that will remain to be the case. An 11th round here for Team Spirit. No money to buy as well for Apeks to combat what should be a 12th for the Russian squad. and looking more and more likely that that flawless track record in the recent trio of months will continue to be so.
I did feel like for a second there, Apeks had a chance to, suddenly come through like, combo? No, it's not broken. It's not broken. He'll still have at least one more gun round in it. Wow, that's 4 nades out to cheat it. Make it 6. Why not? Okay.
Just decided for a fireworks display. They came together. Well,
we've got some too.
We created counter and T-side piece.
Oh, that was not long-lived. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
the sprays don't feel great in CS2, but then you see stuff like that and you're like, oh, well, maybe it is just a skill issue.
I just think the sprays are just different, right? That's why they don't feel great. The sprays are always going to be different from version to version. That's fine. Players just need to, get good again. It'll be okay.
I think there is actually, a math, game code, so, reasoning for the reason, there's a justification for why it feels different or weird. Because we're on a sub-tick system, and then the feedback you get is tied to the tick-based system on the server, so there's a bit of conflict there. That seems to be the case, or that seems to be the common theory.
Michael, you are coming at me with bro science mumbo-jumbo right now.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean, it does feel a bit like that.
That's what Counter-Strike is. Right? Just get good. Guys, just get good.
Well, I'm convinced as well. There's a lot of people saying oh, the shotguns feel like they're so much stronger now. I don't think that is the case. I think
people are just using them now.
Yeah, I just think exactly. People are using them more. Simple was still doing weird stuff with the shotgun at ESL Pro League just last season, before CS2 even hit. So it's not like the shotguns weren't already strong. They just were underutilized.
Shout out JW. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not where the smoke is supposed to go, and that will not be utilized particularly well. Still, mid-swarm is being planned, and Apeks, as much as they are doing their best Protoss impression, they might still find themselves in a tricky situation if Donk is looking to get aggressive from inside Donut. Now, Zontix and Donk are going to be having the impression that maybe mid is a little bit more clear than it is if Zontix wants to swing out a little bit wider over here. There's no one to see. He's being very conservative, and this is one of the things you do love to see in a player like him. But at the same time, Chopper's come over to give him company. Kixen might be able to catch a player out with a grenade in his hand. Zontix seems to have an idea. Kixen will still take him down. Trades are there, but they're not enough. Donk is pushing all the way through, but Artfrost has been given a site responsibility, and he is holding on to it very firmly. Kixen, though, inside CT spawn, found out by Donk, who's just got himself a metal detector or something like it. He just knows exactly where everyone is, and although Magix might not be quite as prescient, he's still just as deadly. Only man left is Sassanito, and as much as he has had a resurgence, it'll be a tall order. First kill found. Magix trying to swing out wide. The bomb plant is faked out, but Sassanito's got no kills to find. Both these players are being very conservative, and as the smoke does go down, the bomb can be planted. Sassanito looking for a duel, will connect with a few more shots, but all of this is time and space being bought out for Artfrost to come in from behind. Sassanito, deep flash over. Artfrost expected, but Sassanito can't find the frag. It'll be Spirit to continue on their unbroken streak on Ancient.
Yeah, I mean, a really well-rounded performance here from many of the members of Team Spirit. It felt like they were really struggling to get some of those rounds together on that T side. Some really scrappy performances, especially in those late round moments. There were signs of life for Apeks that could have been a much closer half. I'm thinking maybe like a 6-6 scoreline coming out of that first half had they gotten a couple more of those rounds together. But that's exactly part of the problem with Spirit at the moment, is that they do have so much of this star power. Even if it's not even players like Magix, if it's outside of the core 3, sometimes Chopper has that influence. He'll call some of those late round hits. That's where Apeks felt like they were the most uncomfortable. And I think part of that was something that you were highlighting on the cast, is Sense was getting abused inside of Donut, which did make things a lot more problematic for Apeks in the long run.
Oh, I mean, I mentioned it to you off of air as well. I was just asking around a little bit about opinions on him, and one of my sort of semi-pro friends did just tell me that, hey, this guy's good, but the problem is he's being put into Stico's spots and he's being asked to be a veteran when that's just not who he is. And you could see that, right? Jacob was forced to be a lot more tied to the A-bomb side. He was forced to play much more shallow position in Donut. You saw Knock having to come over later on, and that's when they started having some success on the CT side. But at the end of the day, Michael, if not for those 2 rounds, right, where donks on a hero and he gets a triple kill entry down middle, or the second one where it is a 3-on-2, Knock fumbles the bag a little bit after getting the chopper kill. Magix and Art Frost are able to hold down that 2v2 retake. If not for those, this could have been a very different game. But unfortunately for them, that is just how Counter-Strike breaks down. A round or 2, that's all it takes. And the question is, can they find that round or 2 in that second map? It'll be Mirage coming up after a break. Don't go anywhere. It's Apex's map pick. Can they take it to 3?
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
One map down, Apeks looks to come back on their own map pick, but home ground might not be a home ground advantage if it is commonly shared between the two of these teams.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a map that Spirit are more than comfortable playing. I know it's a map that, well, I know I've said a lot about Donk, but it feels like he gets away with some rather egregious fighting, and I imagine we'll see more of that as this map plays out. Apeks, of course, starting on that T side, courtesy of this being our map pick. And already a 3 lean to B on the Team Spirit defense. That bomb situated outside of the apartments for Apeks, and they're still probing, waiting to see and feel things out, throwing smokes over that A side to see if they can distract the Team Spirit defense.
Yeah, I don't like this. This seems very obvious. You just need one player checking it out, and that's exactly what happened. So they maintain 3 on B. Donk's already found 1. The bomb has not revealed itself. Well, actually, it has. Kixon getting the kill as well. But now, despite the fact that the fake over has given them nothing, the cascade onto the B bomb site has given them every kill it feels like that they needed. Chopper still a ways away from the bomb site. The bomb can be planted and will be done so by Knock.
Chopper does have a kit and a smoke, so there are some resources at his disposal, but he also will be lacking in that armor, and 3 players that are all in different positions that can keep him contained on short. They know that they damaged him fairly heavily, so they just swing up together and finish off the round. Good counter kills from Apeks, in spite of the fact, like you said, that Fake didn't really do what it was supposed to in breaking down that defense for Team Spirit, but they found those 3 entries they needed to crack into that B-bomb site rather quickly afterwards, even though Donk started off the affair with a nice clean kill. No one else on Spirit could really slow down that hit.
I will say that fake seems like it shouldn't work more often than not. But hey, you know what? What do I know? Donk, though, he knows. He knows how to wield a deagle. Great damage from the nade, and that'll be where responses were attempted but not found. Not enough of them, at least. Donk collects on a 2nd kill. The meanwhile, Sense will be off to a much better start than he did have in Ancient, but that doesn't mean that this will not be a round stolen away. Now remember, the deagle was only singular in nature. Donk has already made up for the investment, but can Artfrost find more?
Yeah, they're very quick to retrieve it off the corpse of Donk. So there is a chance that this D could still have some more impact. Bomb outside of the B apartments, which Artfrost would have been on a collision course to find out himself. But him nestling away inside of B could be a massive problem for Apeks if they decide to finish that direction. Sassanito trying to line up for a flank, finds Zontix in the back, and may have carved out a path to B, but that's where things get very scary for exactly this reason. Sense dealt with, but Kixon there to quell the flames of what could have been a burning house for what should be an Apeks round.
The question is, do they end up on this A bomb site? Because they don't actually know if Chopper has an eagle or not, anything like it. If he could have maybe recovered an AK.
They're coming here.
I know those weapons are at the top of middle, but that could have been neglected at the same time. Chopper likely gets himself 1 more kill on the bomb planter with 20 seconds. Apeks is unlikely to fake and unlikely to clear everything out. So while Sassanito and company could maybe clear this one forward, they are going to be looking to plant inside the smoke, and that takes away a lot of the deadliness off this pistol. But can he still find a kill? Yes, and now suddenly that smoke is working against him. Chopper can move back. He's at the stairs. He's recovered the rifle. Oh no, has he? Yes, he has. Galil picked up smoke as well. I think he might have spotted the head of Kixon. Yes, he has, but Chopper can't find the frag. Kixon with a double kill, but not a smooth round for Apeks whatsoever. That is close. That's wild.
I mean, that's a very scary round for Apeks. Losing the first 2 kills to a deagle, and then falling right into the trap of going towards B, and then almost falling into another trap on the A-bomb side as well that Chopper had orchestrated. I mean, really well played from Chopper, but very difficult for him to do much about it after it just ends up in this raw gunfight where he has no armor and Kixon does. Maybe that's the big difference for that round. Could have been a stolen 2nd round for Spirit, but Apeks dodging that bullet for now. Now into a full investment for the CTs. Artfrost on that AWP, and there will be some limited resources to stop these rush plays. But Apeks are, at the moment, grouping themselves up for what looks to be an execute. So not showing a lot of presence in the early round. There's a lot of information that Spirit can gather in this interim.
Kind of interesting that Chopper is just holding this anti-lurk angle, but he's not ready for this full execute to come through, and they're playing for stairs control. But Chopper has already found the first frag. Donk trying to get aggressive, but he's unsure of targets, and Nock will punish. And unsure it. Now, Zontic's down. Sassanito, the man to remove him from the server, but he's lost a teammate. Nock and Kixon will both fall. The bomb cannot be planted. This Molotov's not doing great work. Sassanito, however, he is. 2 frags found. Will he expect the turn? Yes, he will! Once again, it's Mr. Sassanito to come through and give them another round.
Another 1v1 there for Chopper, and what gives him up there is he wants to reposition. He's trying to play the role slower on that last man. You know, Sassanito is basically thrust into this 2v1 after he gets the immediate trade into CT, but they knew that Chopper was floating around CT. He found those kills, found that, like you said, and pointed out that anti-lurk angle, got that first frag, found Kixon on the plant as well. There was a lot of information about where he'd last positioned, and he wanted to re-navigate, but once again, it kind of felt like Spirit were almost not on the same page. Not winning out on a lot of those duels obviously doesn't help, but Chopper, when he's asked to deliver in these clutch moments, has not been able to succeed. So another very close shave for Apeks, but off to a 3-0 start nonetheless.
I do really like the fact that they go for the stairs isolate execute and just Molotov out CT. Just feel like that forces Donk or someone out there to just take a fight from connector, and you know, that's the isolated duel that you want to get. Not one to the back of triple or anything like it. That's a much more tricky duel. And yeah, Donk finds nothing.
Double scouts here for Spirit, and a faster play here from Apeks into the B bomb site. They will bypass a lot of the presence. They do find that player on the bomb site, but there's no real issues here for Apeks to crack in. These scouts are not likely to find much of anything. Donk is well dealt with on his scope, and a much cleaner round here for Apeks, just changing the pace up slightly. Even though Spirit had pretty heavy presence over at B, just not able to make use of it.
Do you think the scout has a place in a CT loadout?
I mean, personally, and this is totally biased for myself because I've hit some really nice scout shots, yes.
Okay, fair enough.
But it is increasingly hard to justify. Like, an SMG is, you know, arguably just as strong or stronger.
Yeah, I like to have, you know, all 3 of the rifles, right? The M4, M4, and the AUG. Jacob, though, he'd like to have any rifle in his hand. Hell, he'd like to have hands. He's a dead man. Sassanito, though, is still making sure he's not too lonely, but he himself will suffer a similar fate.
I really don't understand, you know, watching many Donk Mirage
kind of
games,
weird.
seeing him fight in the middle of mid so frequently and still be able to get away with it. This time he will overstep. Nock was waiting for a bit of over-aggression and finds it, so it's back to a 3-on-3 in which there can be no trade here for Spirit.
Senses moving past the smoke. He's got a timing magic. If he isn't careful about this, he's dead. He's gone, and with that, the B bomb site will be as well. Artfrost is nearby, but keeping an op scoped in over here is so difficult now. Does Apeks try and cheat back to A in the meanwhile? They're definitely considering it, and in that consideration, Sense has lost his life.
Yeah, heard no additional steps inside of the apartment, so knows that there was no reinforcements coming to back up Sense's entry on that B bomb site. So after Zontix clears middle, has a good read that this could be an A-side play instead, but they have still separated here on Spirit. I'm surprised that this is the case.
Zontix does have an incendiary, and with 30 seconds left, if Apeks takes too much time, you know, gives them one isolated duel, there's no way they're getting this bomb plant down. So I say that, but they've got a smoke down. Feels like they're very good about consistently getting this. Molotov is good. Have they realized he's here? Doesn't feel like it, and he somehow managed to shoot around Kicks, and he is tracing his body rather than shooting into it. It's supposed to be coloring book, not a draw your own activity. Zontix still, though. Out here to try and create some art. Molotov out to the back of Kixon. Kixon will be forced forward into Artfrost's scope. Zontix is trying to bait out a shot from Nock, but Nock is yet to reveal position or weapon. And with the clock ticking down low, it does feel like he's given them this round already. First swing out is not punished, and the duelies will buy time, and that time should be just enough. It'll be right down to the wire. Zontix does have a kid, and he's got it right at the nick of time. First round on the board for Spirit. They finally win a clutch.
Oh my god, Zontix almost dropped the ball there as well. Fired off so many shots on that M4. Thought for sure he'd killed killed Nork there, but it just simply wasn't enough. Had enough time to quick switch back to his M4 to get those last few bullets in, and that fumble could have cost Team Spirit the round, but a very close shave, still a defuse, and a successful retake. I mean, great patience on display, really, between those two youngsters on Spirit. Maybe more to find in these coming rounds. Apeks, their money has not exactly been built up too heavily, even in that 4-0 start.
Well, oh, okay. All right, so a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes coming on here. I'm not gonna lie.
The movement has changed on that particular box. There's no way you can silent drop anymore. You can't simply jump up anymore. You have to crouch jump it. So those are small things that players are gonna have to adapt to. The map has had these minor things that have changed from Go to CS2.
That's why I call Michael here, man. He tells me everything.
Well, I know I've tried to do that myself as an A anchor, and it sucks when it happens. You're like, wait, am I stupid, or is the map changed?
I won't lie to you. I thought you always had to use the crouch for that jump, so... Flash in the face, but Zontic's on the side. Donk's been given some time, and that time's been put to good use. 2 for 2 in middle. And with that, the team's gained control. Sasanito will be threatening a window push, in fact. Could actually go for the jump up and try and keep Artfrost delayed as the rest of his teammates will be going in, but they are not ready for the XM flank that'll be set up inside Palace. Chopper is looking to get busy, but in that business, he will lose out on a business partner. Magix is gone, and Artfrost is mollied. He's burning, and he is electing to maintain that in order to chuck out that nade, but Chopper, is he trying to go down? Come on, Chopper, just pump out those shots! Number time running down low. Sasanito will be able to find a kill. Will he get the pump line? Yes, he will. Now another 1v1. Sasanito will not be able to actually get his gun out, though, and Artfrost can just accelerate and bring him down.
Yeah, I mean, basically had to commit to the plant there. If you're Sasanito, goes for the triple plant. Didn't really know where Artfrost was going to be positioned in from, and thought he might have enough safety in from CT, but... Great trigger discipline there to just bleed out more of that clock as well from Chopper. Pumping out those shots. He knew he had the whole round in his hand. And finally he delivers in one of these moments that feels also crucial for Team Spirit. You know, one of his 1v1s, I wouldn't even really slight him for it. I think he had 3 kills from CT where he was the solitary defender. And then he was put in a 1v1 somehow afterwards. But now it's kind of broken the money here for Apeks. Sure, they got the plant down, so that's a nice little cash injection, even in a loss. But unlikely that they'll fully commit to a buy here. So a chance for Team Spirit to close that gap a little further. Again, it does have to be kind of sickening. You know, if you've ever watched a Team Spirit demo, Apeks know what to expect on these fights in mid. And they've still not been able to counteract the aggression that Spirit so typically throw into that area of the map.
I mean, you saw it in the previous round, right? Like, they throw out the flashbang, they keep him blind, they do their due diligence, but Zontix is just playing literally hard anti-flash for that specific thing.
Yeah.
And he swings out, he dies, and he's fine with that because Dawn gets 2. Sasanito, unfortunately, is a little bit late, so you can't get that swing up with the first flashbang either, so yeah. Artfrost taken down. Nock, that's a surprising kill to get with a Galil, but that's a surprising pair! Up top with a shot! Chopper, triple kill, and he is making money.
Yeah, welcome to the chop shop. Just chewing them out with that XM. I'm glad. I am glad shotguns are getting a bit more love.
Yeah.
There were a lot of changes that happened to the shotgun. You know, changes to the kill reward. Happened. They made the sprays more consistent. You know, I guess the spread of the pellets more consistent, I guess is more accurate. And still, players underutilize them, but now in CS2, it's a whole new game, a whole new experience, and people's minds are a bit more open.
So what you're saying is, before we only had like the MP9 would seem better than a FAMAS, maybe an MP7 if you want to be a real hipster about things. Now we've got a shotgun now that seems better than a FAMAS as well. Okay.
Don't forget the UMP as well. You know,
That's true.
that was a
yes.
big UMP meta.
So what I'm understanding is that Valve is trying to make up for the fact that no one wants to use the Falmouth, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, where's the R8 in all this? I've only ever seen 2 players really use the R8, and
Wait,
one
so
of them
JW
was...
and who was the second one?
One of them was, yeah, definitely trolling a little bit, and the other was an Asian player that I don't know where he went anymore.
Was it Nexca, guys?
No, I think it was
that the
Bingo.
ones? Ah, it was on Lin for a while, right?
Wings Up, I think.
Wings, one of the two.
Yeah. And I
Maybe the
will
one
say,
before.
it wasn't very impressive in his outings with the R8.
You're not wrong. Listen, that's one of those guns, the R8, the Negev, and the M249. Keep him out. Oh. Checking for the catch. That no, actually dodges out most of the damage. Cool.
These are a little scary for Art Frost. Last time he peeked into ramp, he got annihilated, so he doesn't want to have that happen again. But he's missing a lot more shots than I think you'd expect. Nice little angle there for
Such an annoying angle.
Magics as well. Yeah, it's very cheese. Incredibly difficult to clear if you're a T-side player. So many angles as you emerge from those apartments. Just like that, Spirit are tied up 4-4 a pop, and Apeks could find themselves on the back foot should they not win here.
And keeping in mind how many clutches Apeks won, right? Like, it's not like this 4-4 is one of those situations where at least Apeks has something that they can go back to. It feels like in every single round they're losing out on exchanges in a way that makes it a 3v3, a 2v2, and then you're playing the round from there. No one in middle though. That's a change up.
Yeah, maybe realizing that they were going to target that area once again, but you see Apeks are a little bit reserved about their approach. They already got Jacob towards the top mid boxes, already crossing the second Delpan, but they've lost sense on one of their extremities, and so this might lean them towards a B-side attack just simply because they've lost control of that area so early into this round.
Feels like you've got nothing to do now with Sense not here. TTs can even start to maybe put a little bit more pressure back over towards the B-bomb side. Nade to try and clear out some of the connector smoke. Donk's got sight lines, and you can already see he is rotating back to B. It's a good call, and it's the right one. Magix has got a smoke and a Molotov, so keeping these guys at bay is going to be not the most difficult thing. Magix, however, is not actually on the B-bomb side. This time it's Zontix and Artfrost, and they're both not able to find the initial kills. Taken down, both of them. And although Donk had started to show as if he was cheating back over towards his B-bomb side, he doesn't actually commit to it, so it's a 3-on-3 yet again.
Yeah, except for the flank by a chopper, but the AWP in Kixon's hands has struck Dunk down, and now it's all reliant on Chopper once again. Has to have high impact from his position. It's an open plant for short, but Chopper's not going to accelerate, not going to show or reveal his position as of yet. Still ducking under the sightlines and could go undeterred. Kixon, a free kill, and now doesn't realize that Nok is sitting right underneath Sassanito, the one that covers that drop out of Apps, and now Magic's that last man standing. Very difficult from here on out. Yeah, Nok, a great reposition at the back of the bomb site. Apeks, they go towards B, where it felt like there was very few options for them to re-engage the A-side attack. Team Spirit didn't make a heavy gamble, didn't make a rotate. They were still flying blind.
Even then, Artfrost and Zontex both not finding a kill apiece, and even then, when Chopper gets that frag, it's surprising to me that Magix doesn't try and make a move, doesn't try and accelerate or do anything like it, right? With the pressure of apartments now revealed. But regardless, it did feel like Spirit was in a good position, but Apeks are able to exploit them nonetheless. And now Apeks are in the driver's seat in the sense that you win this one, and you're probably ending out on maybe a 7-5, an 8-4 if you're doing particularly well.
It feels like Team Spirit are compensating for the fact that last round they conceded middle control and they just basically couldn't make a good call in the final moments of that last round because they had no mid presence. So now they sit with the setup that they've been going for very frequently. Zontix and Donk trying to fight for it, but a late execute here from Apeks in middle that will force those two players back.
They've also only got 2 flashes, and one of them is on Magix, and Magix from Sandwich just can't flash middle. Right, so now with these 2 players, all you can hope for is the smoke to dissipate or for someone to get too aggressive and actually come into their crosshair. Kixon might be doing that, but instead he's ended up going for a fake drop down. Zontix's crosshair isn't in the right place, but his body is. And now so are the bodies of Spirit as they're making their way back over to this B-bomb site. Great defense from Donk on a double kill. Chopper has also taken the time and the kills to move out, but he's revealed his position maybe too early on. Thought that there might have been a player at the back lines of Van, but instead he will just be found without getting a kill. But with 30 seconds and Apeks having members running down dry, it's all about Zontix's swing out. Sense though swings past and Chopper is eliminated. Still, time's out on their side, and as Magix is getting aggressive, now only Zontix is left. Rotating back to market will give him at least some sense of surprise, but surely they start to expect it.
Great angle held by Nok. Read right into where Zontix was last seen. He was on short, and the fact that he never showed himself for such a long period of time, understanding that he could re-navigate into market. Great heads up from Apeks. That looked like Spirit were going to clinch that round and take it by the horns, but different players driving the initiative at different moments and not all fully committing to that philosophy. Apeks were out on the bomb site. There was time. They weren't engaging the plant. Chopper spamming what was an open spot and maybe seeing a body or something, but it just felt like they were running off of sort of old info or something along those lines. It just there was some kind of disconnect there for Spirit. Apeks fully take advantage.
No, I'm really not sure what's going on in these B-side defenses. They're definitely struggling, right? Jacob finds Artfloss in the meanwhile. This anti-eco's really whatever. Maybe we get a kill or 2 from the CTs, but it should be a walkover. Even in the previous round, Michael, I mean, I know you mentioned that they couldn't get like sort of a good call, but it wasn't like their positions were bad, right? Like,
yeah.
They had a numbers advantage. They had 2 players on the site, including an AWP versus low util. That seemed like a recipe for success on the B-bomb side. And unfortunately, these recipes seem like they don't matter. They're being put onto a flaming stove where the temperature is unknown.
Honestly, I think Apeks are doing a really great job as well of kind of slowing down in these hectic situations, because Spirit are a very high-intensity, chaos-driven team. And for them to be able to counteract these sort of late-round moves and, you know, kind of brazen decisions that these players are going to make in these later stages of rounds is actually really, really good to see. Especially when we think about, you know, the comparisons between Ancient, Mirage, Anubis, all maps that are all like very one-plane focused, very open sites as well. You know, that's a strength that if they can transfer that into that 3rd map in the series after kind of getting brutalized on that Ancient, could be a way for Apeks to kind of steal away this series, but maybe I'm thinking too far ahead.
Look, it's also great for me to see right now the fact that even though Jacob's not necessarily doing the best, they're still doing well. Yeah. Apeks, they might be able to continue that process, but Chopper's shotgun is at least one consistent factor. Zontix as well on a swing out from short will do what the lack of donk might have left you doubting. Still finds a frag, though.
Yeah, Chopper's been a big savior in quite a few of these rounds. Has had actually had some great positions to stop rounds. Not always fully capitalized on them, but he is utilizing the full 100% of his brain in quite a few of these moments. Sometimes the hands can't keep up.
100% brain utilization looks like this B, and then by the XM.
Sounds about right to me.
Oh, he's got an AK in his hands now, but position is really good. Completely removing any reason to worry about focusing in towards A main, but Artfrost has to hit these shots as he's starting to scope back out over. He is concerned of actually taking a deep angle, and that is for good reason. Knock! Again, Michael, you've praised them for their slow play, and in that slowness, They are finding kill upon kill. Magix is about to be sidelined as well. His body's been shown off, but he's still able to swing out wider. Maybe he can put up a defense, but they know where he is, and Nox's nade will take him down. Nox is having a splendid performance, and it's only Chopper who, again, was the one who started this round.
And this is a 5 versus 3 that has fallen right through the tips of Team Spirit's fingers. This could have been a 5-7 half, but Apeks have taken this half by the horns. It looks like 8 is pretty much all but dialed in. A missed shot on that AWP, sure, but we're going to have to see 100% brain engagement here from Chopper if we want to see a clutch. He has a kit, but these positions are just simply too hard to clear, and in his loudness, he will not be proud here for Team Spirit. An 8th round for Apeks on their map pick. We'll see how things turn out in that second half.
Really felt like every clutch, every disadvantage, every mid-round was a playground for Apeks. And well, hopefully they're not done playing yet. And maybe Jacob can find his ball as well. He might be a little bit on the older side, but we know he kicks it about like nothing else. 3-11, and despite that they're 8-4 up, the question is, can Spirit bring it back before Jacob finds his hands?
Sense inside of the B apartments, or at least having the balcony to cover, but full cleared by Team Spirit. He was the only man that could have really deterred a B-side hit. Sassanito quick on the flank with his dualies, and he's had a hell of a half, but we'll have to do a lot more and a lot better than that. One kill would have been nice, but they're just getting chewed up. Every single fight being won by the Team Spirit camp and barely taking a lick of damage in their pursuit of an open site, an open plant, and what's looking like a firmly planted in pistol round.
I am not one to criticize micro decisions because you know what? Listen, man, these guys, they're incredible players. They're probably no better than me. I feel like if you're gonna get a duel, it's going into like underpass as a CT side makes no sense to me though.
It doesn't feel like the most conducive pistol. I will agree with that.
I feel like Sassanito probably gets at least one kill on the backstab if he has USP there, but hey, whatever, man, it's all good.
Yeah,
Nox's life isn't all good. He's dead.
the most sort of intuitive positions for dualies are like heavy fighting positions, and underpass is very much a flank.
Like Sense's position.
Yeah, Sense's spot for sure. Or even like underneath the window outside on the B-bomb site. You know, that's another one that I've seen players like to throw themselves into, but
use it like a shotgun, basically.
yeah, or an SMG. Either way, things didn't work out like they had planned, clearly, for the Apeks defense, and so now they're on USPs, so...
Wow. Watch him get a triple kill.
Yeah, they didn't go with this buying pattern the last time they were on CT side for Ancient. They went straight for the force buy, but them having a lead as well probably helps them in this choice.
They did have 2 Kevlar saves as well.
Yeah, but I think
like the full...
it's probably more to do with the amount of resources you need on Ancient to take like early map control on CT sides. Like you're throwing Molotovs and smokes and HEs on elbow, for example, to take mid. That's probably more to do with it.
To be honest, I just think that was... They were trying to prioritize the knock up, which you might want to do more in Ancient if you are trying to have like the knock be more of a stationary op on the B side initially, so that more of your players can rotate back to A if need be. You know, we did see Sense seeming like he was struggling a bit. But yeah, he would have had an op regardless because he did have like 3 kills, but whatever. I'm not talking about that previous map. We've got USB shots that might not connect. Sassanito's got one. See, Michael, I told you. I knew it. Only just the one that I don't think that there's much room to try and find more. The gun obviously can't be retrieved, and sure, no, he's got a USB, so there's no reason to run out.
Yeah, you said 3 kills, so I mean, I'm not letting you off the hook that easily.
If he lives, he'll eventually.
What kind of weird math is that?
Oh, he's got an AK. That counts as 3, right? 2 kills, and he's getting a consolation AK. I'll take it.
Yeah, you can't gas at me on this. That's not what you said. Good damage though, and a hell of a lot of economy saved over as a result of getting his hands on an AK. So I mean, I can't knock his effort there. But surprisingly, no priority on knock. Of course, no AWP. This is the buying route they decided to go with more rifles. More duels can be had, but doesn't mean that that long sight line cannot be covered.
Is that a smoke? Okay, well, you got smoke. Okay, that is just a different CT smoke. Never mind. You know what? Nade is very good though, and Team Spirit will not feel too happy about it. Flashbang will keep Jacob away, and Kingston just dies. He's dead. Jacob, although he spots out the player's head, can't actually connect with a shot, and that gives Zone take some space to take him down. It is chaos all over the site, and it's all coming down Team Spirit. When the smokes finally are removed, when the flashes stop blooming, Team Spirit comes out and they've won the round.
Yeah, just a straight up A hit, and Apeks wanted to fight in front and ahead of all those smokes, but a lot of good utility there by Team Spirit. The counter flashes, honestly, it was just flashes. They just kept layering flashes on these Apeks players that were ready and rearing to fight, and sure enough, Team Spirit outgunned them. That round was very hectic, only because of what Apeks decided to do once they saw those smokes bloom on A. But I do like how quickly teams have adapted to the new way you have to throw, like, the stair smoke, for example, you know, so that it doesn't beat into sandwich like the old lineup now will do with the volumetric smokes. It's the one smoke that everybody knew on Mirage, and now it's wrong, so...
I won't lie to you, I have been throwing it wrong consistently.
Yeah, it's like, why is there a smoke in sandwich? That was always the discussion for us, like, whose smoke is that? Our stair smoke missed. But it didn't miss, it's just different now.
It's actually probably better as well, right? Because before there used to be the problem of there was a small gap on that side. So yeah, makes the execute all the more difficult to deal with.
Of course, now you can nade those smokes open as well. So, you know, CS2 giveth and it taketh.
I will say, I think from everything, I love the volumetrics. I feel like it's really just, you know, whoever was doing the thinking at Valve, they did the thinking right.
Yeah, like, how do we use this newfangled technology of Source 2?
Yes. And it does feel like it's one of the most sort of natural changes to the game, in my opinion, because it feels like it gives players a lot of creativity, right? So you're seeing these standing smokes, you're seeing these pillar smokes over towards Ancient, or hell, even in Mirage, there's like these pillar smokes that exist and whatnot, right? It's just new shit. Yeah. And you know these Counter-Strike players who are nerds are going to figure out a way to deal with it.
It's also just antiquated technology. You know, sprite-based smokes is something that we've been using for decades now in video game development. So to see something a bit more intensive, sure, but also feels like it just makes sense as well. Enter the game is great. And there's been slow and steady churnings here for Team Spirit on Mirage. It was an 8-4 lead for Apeks, 4 straight for the Team Spirit attack, but a bit of aggression inside of Palace. But what is that from Zontix? A spray transfer and instant headshots on both. That should have been a kill. He should be dead. And Zontix gets away with absolute murder.
You don't very often get to see that from Zontix, right? Just an extreme mechanical display of brilliance. Very often it'll evade you. So he's just making the right moves. He's ice hitting deals, doing this, he's doing that. But he's got the hands. Yeah.
He didn't seem really ready for a second player at all as well. It just, you know, instincts kick in.
It's like flow state. Well, if those are the shots Zontix going to be hitting, then Apeks better gives Jacob some cereal or some milk. I don't know what. I don't really know what activates things. Maybe some monster energy. Because he needs something. Pi Day shouldn't be infinite, even if those numbers might be. Well, so probably moving forward, and that's going to end one way or another, and it will be in a whatever, you know, 1-1. Apeks would have liked to save that gun. I don't know how many more they can actually recover on the Spirit side. It feels like everyone except for Sense should be removing. Even Sense is just going to be smoking himself off. Donk is going to be considering moving through that smoke, decides against it.
Just letting them know he knew where he was. Yeah, need to take a timeout to screw their heads on straight. Losing 2 inside of Palace. It actually seemed like a fairly decent call to just simply get an isolated fight. Especially if they didn't want to try and combat Spirit in middle like they were doing so much on their CT side.
They got the headshot on the Zontix as well through the wall initially, right? It's not even like a full aim fail or anything like it.
Yeah, that's not how it's drawn up at all. You bring that second man to ensure you get the frag.
Yeah. Like taking your older brother to a playground fight and then he gets beaten up.
And listen, sometimes that happens, you know? Your brother's overpromised, or the gunfight just simply doesn't go your way. Even if you make the right call, you can't always win the round.
Wait, there's a gunfight with my brother?
Okay, well, no, I'm drawing the comparison, you know? We're drawing parallels here. But, you know, you don't have a lot of wiggle room now. This is a tight game, and now Spirit have overtaken when they have been trailing for all of Mirage.
Oh! Let's go. Sassanito can do it with everything except the duelies, apparently. Will be just the one, though. If this ends up being a B-bomb side hit, then Apeks has a chance to rob a round out. If not, well, all you've got is the MP9 of Jacob to try and defend this A site.
You need to really rethink the phrasing "rob a round out." It's a little too close to something else.
Yeah, listen, if the shoe fits, then maybe don't wear it. That sounds unhygienic.
Yeah, probably. Well, it doesn't seem as though they are going to fall into that trap. Walking up connector, hearing and seeing nothing. And they might be able to put 2 and 2 together. Palace, ramp, those are exposed. There's nobody that can go out and face check it. So they're using basically all of their utility to clear out these positions. And even though Jacob is fairly likely to get away with a frag here, oh, well, never mind. If he got that kill, this round still probably wouldn't have been on for Apeks. Those two players clamoring inside of the B-bomb site more than likely would have saved, but Team Spirit kind of dodging out what could have been doom and gloom on that secondary site. Instead get to double digits before Apeks after trailing 4-8 coming into this T-side half. And for those not with the quick math, that's 6 rounds straight.
Yes. Thanks. I appreciate that.
No problem. I mean, it's always risky.
Like I was trying to count, but then I realized I've only got 5 fingers. Like, now what do I do?
We got 4 fingers and a thumb. Actually, I'll have you know. Actually.
Well, 4 is the amount of fingers that you have on one hand, and Jacob's got as many kills. Hopefully he can find his second hand and actually put it to use pretty soon.
Yeah, it's kind of... It must be quite annoying, really, for Apeks to really have a quiet performance from Sassanito in that first map, where Jacob is really taking control, and now it's the other way around. And, you know, he's one that we were touting to be a relatively consistent figure for most of his career, and has been struggling to find that same sort of relevancy here on the second map, where they need it to force it into Anubis. They control out the gate here for Team Spirit. And now weighing onto the lines of Apeks. Nade is decent. Actually, very good, in fact. Full damage onto Magix. But not a whole lot that can be done to capitalize on this fact. Nade to blow open the con smoke, but Nok misses his opportunity.
Flashbang to keep them away. They're really trying to make sure that this 4-man pincer off connector can work out, but Zontix has already taken out one of these members. CTs will not have too much to face off against. Sassanito still swinging out wide and through the smoke. He's found Magix. It's Zontix to fall next. It feels like there's just no fair fights until Donk is in the field, and even he's only got 1. Art Frost can trade and makes it 2. Running out of ammo though, and in a 1-on-1 that could be critical. Sense is taking his chance to push forward. Art Frost though has located him. Sense with an aid forward, could have taken him down, but doesn't quite go deep enough. The flashbang was good, but Art Frost cannot follow through with the quick aim adjustment. Sense and the wide swing will give Apeks their first CT round.
Yeah, really nice shot at the 1 versus 3 there for Art Frost. Nok not realizing he was exposed around the edge of that smoke. Almost broke that round completely for Apeks. But good maneuvers. Honestly, just good moves in general from Sense, not to try and take that fight outright after losing his opportunity. And he's been, I think, warming up as the series has gone on after being, what was basically abused on Ancient, to now being fairly influential in the way that he's played around his team.
This is a fast hit coming in onto the A-bomb side. They are hoping to catch Apeks with their pants down, but Kixon, well, he's found a corner to nestle away and hopefully get those buttons back up. Kixon swings out, but he finds nothing. Chopper still removes him from the server and the site, while Sassanito's trying to get busy up on top of the ticket box. Only good for the 1. Meanwhile, Jacob's still locked out of the bomb site as he's lost his teammate, and Jacob is losing more than just the 1. Jacob and Nok will be forced to go back and save at this stage. Apeks have got no chance of retaking this site.
That was wild. I thought they almost over-seasoned the hit. There was so much util sailing out onto that A-bomb site. Team Spirit were getting flashed themselves with how many flashes were sailing over. They basically have no utility for what would have been a post plant, but who needs it if you kill everybody that would even threaten your bomb site? That was kind of mad. Apeks just couldn't slow down the hit at all. Kixon getting dropped, and then Donk as well pushing deep into CT to get 2 kills. Basically tied the bow on top. There was almost too much utility, is what I'm trying to say there for Spirit, but it still worked out. You can tell this is a team that very much thrives in sort of dragging you into the dirt with them. Gotta say, hats off to Chopper for that call. Lovely change of pace. Very hectic, but Apeks, that could be a knockout punch. No more money left. Oh god, Nok exposed underpass, a Molotov as well, but enough room to escape, courtesy of Zontix respecting that ult could have taken him out of the round as well.
He caught off completely. Jacob's able to find him, and with that, one of the few kills of this game. And meanwhile, he gets information about the fact that, well, it is Zondex who's gone down. That is a man who likes to lurk. Maybe that means the A-bomb site needs to be reinforced, and in the process of trying to test that hypothesis, they lose the advantage. And with this, they might be losing the side as well. They are trying to accelerate on Team Spirit. Donk moving all the way past, jumping right into the smoke. Assassinate is good for one. Can it be good for more? No. Donk is sidestepped, but Nox given enough time to come through into the site as well. Magix will collect. But with Nox's position known, flashes in his face, it has to be sensed to make a move. He's going through the smoke. Magix turns around. The timing isn't good for him. And Art Frost is traded, but he doesn't know Nox nearby. A shot that's missed. Spirit find 12.
Oh no. Not like this. He had no idea. Not a clue where Nok had gotten off to. He could have repositioned jungle, sat deep spawn, anywhere but ticket booth. And he misses his shot. A great set of kills there for Art Frost, but a trade that should have been for Apeks. And now a 12th for Team Spirit where, yeah, Apeks can pull together a buy, but it will not be met with good utility, nor good resources. No kits will be available for retakes. That is a gut punch. And they got away with some egregious rounds themselves on that T side. 3v5s, 2v4s. They had them all. Every numbers permutation where you're at the disadvantage, Apeks were able to pull through. And now they sit on that CT side where it gets down to these final moments where stakes are high. And Spirit are the ones now pulling through for themselves.
Stakes are high, spirits are higher. Well, I can't say the same for Apeks. You've got 5 M4s, barely any utility. Aggression is a must. It's either pushing or stacking. Those are the only ways to win around, it feels like, with the way this setup is sort of materializing. They'll abandon middle. They know they can't contest it. The clock is ticking and the noose is tightening around the throats of Apeks. Will they be relegated to the lower bracket of the playoffs over here? That is the question. And as Magix is exploring out of connector, there's 2 players. One of them already found. Kixon on the other side of a wall in the smoke, but it's much closer than that. Chopper is also going to take this chance to try and see if he can get aggressive over into B short. There is an op on the other side, but Kixon's won the duel. Magic's not ready for that one. Kixon's got 2, and maybe this is what they needed, a hero performance, and they've heard the steps back. Chopper, though, finds a B bomb site. They know there's been a rotation. Nox made the call, but do they know Chopper is still holding down position into B? He now has got information of this player in underpass. An underpass player, Kixon, looking for a third frag. Donk's gonna know where he is. Swings out wide, anticipates it, and with that, it's all down to Jacob. Jacob has to get 1, if not 2 kills to give them a chance here. Swings out for the first, but he cannot connect. It's all Nok, a 1-on-3, a situation that seems impossible.
A gamble taken there by Chopper, but once he dealt with Jacob, this is the round. A 1-on-3 and in from a flank that they should anticipate. Donk's now clued himself into it, and he'll find the headshot. 25 kills for Donk in what was a one-sided showing. Once we got into that second half, Team Spirit took over on the attack, and they were front runners from the get-go, but it felt like Apeks really had this map in their hands.
Absolutely. Apeks in that first half looked like everything they were doing in the mid-round was correct, but unfortunately, even then, those trends we saw in that first half of, losing early rounds, those carried through into the second, and it's a lot harder to get a good mid-round going when you're on the CT side. You've got to rotate in from another side. You don't have, information of where the bomb is, all of this stuff. Spirit got into their groove, and not to mention, it's not just about it being more difficult on CT side. Spirit was also just doing better on T side, right? Those miscommunications, the lack of coordination that we felt like on some of those defenses were there, it's not there on those offenses. A lot more focus on heavy executes, and that helps negate some of that issue.
Yeah, I felt like they were almost better in flow with the game by doing it this way, and by having players like Zontix or Donk or even Magix as well, being able to just play their spot, find a kill, and then being able to collapse together as a squad. That felt like they were just far more, like you said, I think they were just playing better together than they were on CT, where some of those miscommunications did really haunt them. But you couldn't expect Apeks to get away with more of these man-down situations throughout the entirety of the game that will only ever get you through so many rounds. But it really should have been enough to force us to a third map, so it is a bit of a shame. Now, that doesn't mean Apeks are out. It is actually, like you sort of alluded to, this is a determining match to go to see who goes up in that upper bracket semifinal, or who ends up in the upper bracket first round, or bracket round 1. So, I mean, both these teams were already making it into the playoffs, but Spirit get that pressure lifted off their shoulders, knowing that they have to play one less game. Every game bears a risk of losing it, and especially with a lot of young players, when they've had these chances against some of the top teams, going into the ESL Challenger League can be just as trying. As you understand, this is a qualifying path to getting into ESL Pro League, which Spirit need. They want these opportunities to show what they've got with these youngsters. You might be able to charge through all your online officials, and everybody's talking about all these young prospects. Oh, who's going to get poached from Team Spirit? You need to have those opportunities to show what you're made of against these top teams more frequently.
Oh, look, let's not forget, right? Spirit failed the qualifier to try and qualify into Jönköping. I'm not sure if Atlanta still has a qualifier spot left for them, but there's very few lands that Spirit will have the ability to try and play out. Let's not make any mistakes about it. While Montes and Gamer Legions, these teams that are still in a high space in the world rankings, you're not getting an invite directly to these tournaments, so Spirit need to qualify. And if they can't make it to Pro League, Michael, I might be wrong, because Atlanta, I'm not sure about the qualifier status for that, but there aren't very many other tournaments left to play for on a LAN setting in CS2. And you have to remember, these three players, this big golden trio, the more we talk about them, the more we want to see them on LAN, because that's a completely different game. And that's what we're looking forward to seeing, whether they can qualify in or not. Regardless, though, they do have some respite. They'll have a bit more break as we head over to the playoffs for the European division. They'll have some time to figure out exactly how they want to prep in for that one. There were obviously mistakes made here in today's series as well on both maps, but those are mistakes that I'm sure they'll be learning from and taking forward. That being said, though, before we closing out the broadcast for today, there's going to be more action coming in for you guys tomorrow on the European side of things. Same time, same place, different faces, but we'll be there in Twitch chat, chugging along, saying hi to all of you guys as we all watch some fantastic CS. For now, though, I've got to be signing off. I'm Tea Time. He's been Michael Yumi Cassidy, and we're saying goodbye.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.